Wikipedia sucks. Wait! Keyboard's down. It's not clickbait, but it's not what you think. Let me first address the elephant in the room. Hey! Wikipedia criticism is outdated and focuses on the fears of traditional publications and researchers from the early 2000s when it disrupted the digital information space. Teachers preached it was unreliable and the anyone edits model would be plagued with vandalism. And although the system's not immune, just check out the Bo Burnham revision history if you're in for a chuckle. As a Wikipedia veteran, I've observed malicious edits getting snuffed out faster than you can say. Look, Mom, I just hacked Wikipedia. But you know what's more unreliable? Mistakes making their way into the final printed copy, only to be corrected in a future edition. You could argue that's why books have editors. Different kind. But as most authors will admit, the minute you send off that final draft, you find a glaringly obvious typo and would kill for the ability to fix it like we can on Wikipedia. Some disapprove of what qualifies as an article, but there's an inherent judgment there. The variations of slide rule design is more important than the evolution of Doge meme. Oh, wow, it's even classified as a good article. But the audience for Arcane Math Tech is, shall we say, limited. And what can you expect from a volunteer internet population likely slanted to what's trending now? But enough of the defense. Yeah, I thought you hated Wikipedia. As a Wikipedia user and staunch supporter, I have to admit there are some fundamental flaws. First and foremost, neutral point of view, a guiding principle of Wikipedia. Ever read a verbose 5-paragraph intro only to realize you still don't know what the article's about? Well, that's because they make you write it that way. Narratives often tell a story through the eyes of another character, but Wikipedia's strict adherence to presenting cold, hard facts and not introducing bias on a worldwide site can be a slog, and leaves a bitter taste in my mouth, worse than the dryness of a Cabernet Sauvignon. This is an expensive prop. And I don't even like reds, but I do it for the views. If the summary extends below the fold, or I have to click any of the links just to get oriented, then you've failed. I came here to find something, not play 6 degrees of Wikipedia. News headlines work because they're engaging, and almost always biased, but even if I don't agree with the agenda being pushed, at least I usually understand the content. But jumping in blind to a new topic on Wikipedia, I've been outmatched by the sheer denseness. I've read entire legal cases and come out the other side unsure who's guilty, or even who the bad guy is. It's a simplification. I know the world's not black and white. It can be. Or worse yet, I come to the end and I'm like, yeah, he deserved it. Only to find out it's been a miscarriage of justice. Just look up facts without context. Plenty of people express their opinions, not on Wikipedia where opinions don't exist, and contradictory positions have to be artfully obfuscated with clinical detachment. I get what they're trying to do, but it's just in practice I find it more frustrating than useful, having to use 10 words to say best. If you've ever been reading something and wanted to correct an error, by all means go ahead. Improve the wealth of humanity's collective knowledge. But be careful you don't inadvertently promote, editorialize, use an idiom, or violate any of the million other style guidelines. And boy, there are a lot. Learning to write for Wikipedia is daunting, and I've had my hands slapped enough that I stick to fixing minor grammatical errors, broken links, and improving plot summaries. Wikipedia is PHP meets Markdown on steroids. It looks bland, but there's a whole lot of syntax behind what you see. This used to be the only editor, but now with the new WYSIWYG interface, edits are easy. Until you overstep your bounds, accidentally committing a change that reorders all the subcategories and leaves the page with no footer. Just a hypothetical. You're not going to reference Wikipedia on your doctoral dissertation, but it's become a widely accepted way to settle an argument, and I firmly believe we get it right more often than not. It's extremely hard to spread falsehoods on Wikipedia, as any middle school prankster finds out attempting to insert Fight Club into thermodynamics. Seriously, this list is hilarious. Check it out. But these don't last, and the mods will revert your jokes in a heartbeat, or throw citation needed on the most indisputable true statements. It's frustrating finding publications to back up things you know are correct, but just can't prove. I've been flagged for using original research and primary sources, but if some influencer just revealed an important detail on their podcast, I'm not allowed to use it, even though they literally just said it themselves. How's that different than quoting an interview on TV when a real person says something? It's like the catch-22 of credit history. I can't use it because it hasn't been published, but then I can't publish it because that's original research. Ugh! So then I go hunting for the flimsiest of sources for anyone on the internet who has covered this. And since I already got dinged once, I'll throw like 3 or 4 citations just to appease the Wikipedia gods. But this could easily be abused to support an opposing claim, and highlights an important confirmation bias research problem. I'm just sitting here trying to expand the measly stub of a bio for some up-and-coming YouTuber, but I can't improve the paucity of information Wikipedia's detractors complain about because no third party will back me up. It's like when kids play the why game and you run out of answers and wish they would just give up and accept some fundamental axioms of truth. Earlier this year I noticed hummus was spelled weird on a Cedars container, so I turned to Wikipedia and found several alternate spellings, but no hummus, so I did a little digging and found on the company's website it was Mediterranean. I added a sentence referencing the additional spelling, and felt pleased I'd helped. But not 20 minutes later, my good faith edits had been reverted because I was advertising a specific brand, when I was only trying to show an example of yet another variation of word I can't even decide how to spell anymore. And I've given up trying to be on the cutting edge, updating Google April Fool's jokes. That page is a minefield of constantly changing developments, and my good intentions just get overwritten. But if you find any scholarly articles on homuscular etymological origins, send them my way. In conclusion, you shouldn't leave conclusion in the script if you don't know how to finish, but Wikipedia's validity is better than you think. Still take it with a grain of salt, as you should reading anything. And you know you made it big when your own Wikipedia page gets trolled. One day,